With the addition of the Fairy type in Generation 6, we have had 18 different Pokemon types. Many Pokemon have occupied various types across the Pokemon franchise, but not all of the 324 possible ways to assign Pokemon types, with 171 unique type combinations, according to Bulbapedia, have been used. Bulbapedia states that as of Generation 7, 146 types combinations have been used, which leaves out 25 possible Pokemon type combinations. In today's video, we will look at all of those 25 unused Pokemon types in my favorite unused Pokemon types. This video will contain some bias as I genuinely like the types in the order they appear on this list and not just for their usefulness or because there is a possibility that these typings could have been considered when creating some of the Pokemon. I will try to cover weaknesses, strengths, resistances, immunities as best I can, but I do apologize if I missed something. I also will try to add fan art of each of the Pokemon types and give suggestions of some of the current Pokemon that could have this typing. I am including all 25 types since I already had to do the research on all of the types, so why not include them on the list? And I also get to shine a light on each of the types combinations that we have not seen yet. With all that being said, sit back and relax as we discover my favorite unused Pokemon types. Number 25, Ice Bug. To start off this list, we have the Ice Bug type. Okay, this seems pretty illogical to me, so that's primarily why it's at the bottom of the list. Pokemon with this type are good against Grass, Flying, Ground, Dragon, Psychic, and Dark types, with Grass being a 4 times weakness. So each of the stab is good against the Grass type. They have 3 weaknesses, Fire, Rock, and Steel, with Fire being, and Rock, both being 4 times weaknesses. They resist Ice, Fighting, Ground, and Grass types. And here is some fan art, because I have no idea what Pokemon would even have this typing. Apparently, this one would. This is one of those typings that has no reason to exist, mostly because it does so very poorly, but Ice types are also found very late in the game, and Bug types are found primarily early on, so working out an evolutionary line would be fun for Game Freak if they try to add this type combo. Number 24, Normal Bug. Don't worry, Bug types will shine later on in this video. When I think Normal Bug, I think Caterpie, because it's the first Bug Pokemon most people encounter. It was my first Bug Pokemon I encountered. I wouldn't give this type to any of the current Pokemon, so I hope you enjoy this fan art. Normal Bug Pokemon are strong against Dark and Psychic types. They are weak to Flying, Rock, and Fire types, and they resist Ground, Grass, and Dark type moves, and also are immune to the Ghost types. Number 23, Normal Poison. I don't really care for this one either, but it makes more sense to me than Ice Bug and Normal Bug, since I don't really have a good Pokemon to put for this typing. Here's some fan art for you. Now let me explain the matchups. It's good against Grass and Fairy, weak to Ground and Psychic, resists Poison, Grass, Bug, and Fairy, and is immune to the Ghost typing. Number 22, Normal Ice. Again, not too practical, but nonetheless, this type must be talked about. Here's the fan art. They are strong against Flying, Grass, Ground, and Dragon Pokemon, weak to Fire, Rock, and Steel Pokemon, and have a 4 types weakness to Fighting types, only resist Ice type moves, and are only immune to the Ghost typing. Number 21, Ice and Poison. I'm just going to have fan up over here because this typing is so out there that none of the current Pokemon could possibly have this type. Good matchups for this type are Grass with a 4 times weakness, with weakness in both of the stabs, Fairy, Flying, Ground, and Dragon. Bad matchups are Rock, Steel, Fire, Ground, and Psychic. This type encounters Ice, Poison, Bug, Grass, and Fairy types very well. I also do like the viability of this typing. It seems pretty useful against many types, but it also has many other weaknesses too, giving a pretty fair battle presence. Maybe just make this Pokemon a Glass Cannon so it can be used super. Number 20, Bug Psychic. While this typing isn't practical, it could be cool to see. Butterfree should have this typing just because it would work so well with its moveset. Its shiny form really makes it look like a bug in Psychic type too. Bug and Psychic Pokemon are good against Fighting, Poison, Grass, Psychic, and Dark types. They are weak to Flying, Rock, Fire, Bug, Ghost, and Dark types. They resist Psychic, Ground, and Grass, and have a 4 times resistance to Fighting type moves. Number 19, Normal and Rock. Okay, so maybe a bulky physical attacker? Rock could be this typing, but here's some fan art of normal rock types as well. The rock typing makes them good against flying, bug, fire, and ice. They are weak to fighting, ground, steel, water, and grass, with fighting being a 4 times weakness. They resist normal, flying, poison, and fire type moves, and are immune to any ghost type attacks. Number 18, Normal Steel. Another bulky physical typing. Here's the art, and let's just get into the typing breakdown. They are immune to ghost and poison moves, weak to ground, fighting and fire. Well, fighting is a 4 times weakness, and it's strong against rock, ice, and fairy types. I chose normal steel over normal rock only because of the resistances. Normal steel types resist normal, flying, rock, bug, steel, grass, psychic, ice, dragon, and fairy attacks. Number 7, Poison Fairy. Here's the fan art. I'm not really sure about this typing other than it's sort of weird, but Poison and Fairy type Pokemon are strong contenders against Grass, Fairy, Dark, Fighting, and Dragon types. They're weak only to Steel, Psychic, and Ground types. They have a 4 times resistance to Fighting type attacks, but also resist Grass, Bug, Fairy, Dark, and Rock type moves, with a sole immunity to the Dragon typing. Number 16, Fighting and Fairy. These are kind of opposites here, but I like the concept of this typing. Here's the fan art. Fighting and Fairy types are weak to Poison, Steel, Flying, Psychic, and Fairy attacks, and are only immune to Dragon moves. They deal super effective damage to normal, rock, steel, ice, fighting, and dragon types, and have super effective stab with both of their types versus dark type Pokemon. They carry 4 resistances fighting and rock at 2 times resistance, and dark and bug at 4 times resistance. Number 15, Rock and Ghost. Ever heard a sound, but no one is there? It could have been this Pokemon, lurking around. Rock and Ghost types have strength in battling flying, bug, fire, ice, ghost, and psychic types. They cower in fear of ghost, dark, ground, steel, water, and grass types. They resist flying, fire, and bug attacks, and wall, poison type moves. This typing is immune to normal and fighting types, which saves it from having another weakness in the fighting typing. Number 14, Ground and Fairy. Usually you think of fairies as floating creatures, but apparently these ones don't. This unique typing is weak to water, grass, ice, and steel attacks. They are good against poison, rock, steel, fire, electric, fighting, dark, and dragon types. So they seem pretty good. And if that's not enough for you, they also resist rock, fighting, bug, and dark type attacks, and are immune to the electric typing and dragon typing. Sorry, Zekrom, you have been officially walled. Number 13, Bug and Dark. Honestly, I thought this type already existed. Actually, many people thought it does because of Drapion, but it drops its bug typing for its dark type when it evolves, so here's an actual Bug and Dark Pokemon, and I must say it looks very awesome. Both of these types are super effective on Psychic types, giving these Pokemon dual stat, super effective stab against Psychic type opponents. They're also strong against Ghost, Grass, and Dark types. They're weak to Flying, Rock, Fire, Bug, and Fairy moves, resist Ground, Grass, Dark, and Ghost moves, and are immune to Psychic type attacks. Number 12, Poison and Psychic. This is another fun typing, put 2 sort of opposite typings together. Here's the fan art. This typing is good against Grass, Fairy, Fighting, and Poison. They are weak to Ghost, Dark, and Ground. They resist Fighting 4 times, then also resist Poison, Bug, Grass, and Fairy types. Number 11, Dark Fairy. Here's some fan art for this typing. I do think Mega Absol would be a good fit for this typing. With the added wings on its Mega form, it sort of looks like a Pixie Pokemon. Well, anyways, they're good against Ghost, Psychic, Fighting, Dragon, and Dark types, weak to Fairy, Poison, and Steel types, resistant to Dark with a 4x resistance, as well as Ghost and Bug types, and is immune to Dragon and Psychic type attacks. Number 10, Fire Fairy. Breaking into the top 10, we have this typing that I have tried endlessly to have in my new starter typings video. Here's some art. I think a Tapu should have had this typing. I was really surprised that when they had the trial at Wailer Volcano Park and they didn't make it a ruin site for a Fire Fairy Tapu. This fan art could be the third stage for the Ponyta line. Regardless of all that, they are strong against Fighting, Dragon, Bug, Dark, Steel, Grass, and Ice types, weak to Ground, Rock, Water, and Poison, resistant to Bug with a 4x resistance, as well as Dark, Fighting, Fire, Grass, Ice, and Fairy types, and immune to Dragon type attacks. Number 9, Fighting and Ground. Maybe this could be a Cubone final evolution, or insert the new Sword of Justice here. Fighting Ground types are good against Poison, Fire, Electric, Dark, Normal, and Ice types, and also have super effective stab with both types on Steel and Rock typings. They also have a 4x resist, Rock types, and also resist Poison, Bug, and Dark. They are weak to Water, Grass, Ice, Flying, Fairy, and Psychic, and only resist Electric type attacks. Well, Electric type attacks are immune. Number 8, Electric Poison. Here's the art. Now, if any gym was to be a dual type gym, it would have to be Roxy's Poison type gym. Since she is in a band, it makes sense that she would have to use electricity for her mics and amps for her guitars. So she could be a dual Poison and Electric type gym leader. But since there is no Electric and Poison typing, this is too unlikely. Electric and Poison types are good against Flying, Water, Fairy, and Grass types. They have 2 weaknesses, 2x with Psychic and 4x with Ground. They resist Bug with a 4x resistance, Dark, Fighting, Fire, Grass, Ice, Fairy, and are immune to Dragon types. Number 7, Electric Fighting. Just the idea of this type sounds very interesting to me. Some fan games and ROM hacks have given this typing to Electivire, but I really don't see it as a fighting type, so check out this fan art. Regardless, Pokemon with this type are strong against Normal, Rock, Steel, Ice, Dark, Flying, and Water types, weak to Ground, Psychic, and Fairy types, and resistant to Electric type moves. Number 6, Fire and Grass. Ludicolo introduced Grass, Water type in Generation 3, and Volcanion brought about the Fire-Water type in Generation 6. So a Fire and Grass type Pokemon should be added to finish off these starter type combos. Bug, Steel, Grass, Ice, Ground, Rock, and Water are weak to this type. Fire Grass Pokemon are weak to Rock, Flying, and Poison types, resist Steel, Fairy, Electric, and have a 4x resistance to Grass type moves. Check out this fan art for the Fire Grass type. Out of the current Pokemon, maybe Cherrim could be a Fire Grass type in the sun with that form. But I really do like this typing, and I really do like this fan art. I really wanted it for the Alola games. Number 5, Electric Dark. I definitely thought Luxray would be an Electric Dark type when I first saw it. Pretty much everyone did. Luxray just gives off the edginess of a Dark type, especially in its shiny form. But we know this evolutionary line is also an Electric type. I don't think that Shinx or Luxio should be given the Dark typing, but I do like it on Luxray. Electric Dark types are strong when battling Flying, Water, Ghost, or Psychic types, but are weak to Fighting, Bug, Fairy, and Ground types. They are immune to Psychic and resist Dark, Ghost, Flying, Steel, and Electric type attacks. Number 4, Fire and Ice. I love this combination since I generally see them as opposites, and opposites attract. Fire-Ice types are good against Grass, Steel, Bug, Ice, Flying, Ground, and Dragon types. Both of its typings are super effective against the Grass types. They would be weak to ground, water, fighting, and have a 4 times weakness to rock types. They quad resist ice type moves and also resist bug, grass, and fairy moves. And maybe this Pokemon continues its fusions, like with Reshiram, Zekrom, and Kyurem, or Necrozma and Solgaleo and Lunala. We could have a Ninetales that is a fire and ice type, with drought or snow warning to be excellent for setting weather for sun or hail teams. Or you can just like the fan art that I have on the screen. Number 3, Poison Steel type. Since the integration of the fairy types in Generation 6, I have wanted a fairy killer, and this type brings a means to that. Poison and Steel types have 4 times strength to fairies and are also good against grass, ice, and rock types. This type comes with only 2 weaknesses, being fire and ground, but are 4 times weak to the ground type moves. This type boasts one of the best resistances to the other types, having 4 times weaknesses to bug, grass, and fairy, and also resisting normal, flying, rock, steel, ice, and dragon types, and also picking up an immunity to poison type moves. I could see Garbodor having this typing, since it is a pile of garbage. Naturally, steel is hard to break down, so this Pokemon would just embrace its metallic qualities in its body into its typing and keep its current stats to keep this Pokemon from being way too overpowered. Number 2, Normal Ghost. I really like this pick, since these types resist each other. Well, they're actually immune to each other. And the combo ties really well with Ghost Poison, Ghost Steel, and Ghost Dark for the most immunities. Okay, I guess Ghost are really good typing for immunities, but nonetheless, Normal and Ghost type Pokemon are strong against Ghost and Psychic types, are weak only to Dark types, resistant to Poison and Bug, and have 3 immunities in Normal, Fighting, and Ghost types. I don't have a current Pokemon I like for this typing, but look at this fan art of Normal Ghost types. Yeah. I really think for a Pokemon with this typing could really benefit from being highly specially defensive and highly physically attacking. Maybe with a slow speed stat, but with access to priority moves like Shadow Sneak, and maybe given the Prankster or Technician ability, this Pokemon would make Foul Play probably your best bet at destroying a Pokemon with this typing. And finally, number 1, Bug and Dragon. Flygon is a popular Pokemon throughout the Pokemon community, but is often not used much since its stats aren't the best, and Garchomp does a better job at the whole ground dragon type. Ugh. So what if we change its type to Bug Dragon? Flygon and Vibrava both look like dragonflies, which many people do associate with bugs. I think Trapinch should remain the ground type, then evolve into Vibrava, a bug ground type, adding the bug typing by adapting its wings to fly for small distances, and also because it burrows underground for the ground typing to escape predators, and then who evolves into the Bug Dragon Flygon, who no longer relies on survival in the ground or on the ground, since it can fully fly now with fully developed wings, and thus drops its ground typing for a dragon type based on the current reasoning in the community. That's enough speculation on how Flygon could be a Bug Dragon type. Now let's look at the type itself. Bug and Dragon types could take care of Ghost, Psychic, Dark, and Dragon types. It's only weak to Dragon, Flying, and Rock types. Bug Dragon Pokemon would resist Fire, Water, Electric, and Ground type moves, with a quad resist for Grass types. Well, that concludes this list of the top favorite unused Pokemon typings. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, leave a like and consider subscribing for more content from me. Also, go follow me on Twitter for channel updates and interactions from me. But that's all I have for now. So until next time, I'm ChaosMay006 signing off. Burn it up.